Hi, and welcome back to Playing to Your Strengths. We are in session 1, and we're looking at assessments, self-assessments, to see how they correlate with the 3 zones of work strengths. And in this video, we are specifically looking at Sally Hogshead's Fascination Advantage Assessment. And again, the point of this exercise is to see overriding patterns and then to map our themes to our work strength zones. Before we look at the Fascination Advantage, I'll do a quick review of the 3 zones of work strengths to give some context. And the simplest way to conceptualize these work zones is to think about the realms of why, how, and what, and which innate strengths might lend themselves to those realms. So the creative visionary then you can look at it this way. They tend to work in the vision and research side. In design, it would be conceptual design, whereas the integrative thinker is more in the detail of designs. And the intuitive doer is in the details and performance areas of deployment. So also keep in mind the different capacities or thinking preferences that lend themselves to big picture thinking or expanding choices with the creative visionary, and the intuitive doer with more micro thinking or narrowing in of choices, and the integrative thinker right there in between. Again, we have the why, we have the how, and we have the what, which also, kind of goes from at the top, up in the why, it's more intangible, down to the what is very tangible. So that's another way to think about that. With this in mind, let's look at the fascination types. For context, we'll think of potential, or being really unpredictable, at the top, narrowing down to predictable results. So the very first type we'll look at is prestige, which one of the distinguishing factors is that they avoid failure by focusing on what they know they do well. So again, this is more in the realm of a strength that would be narrowing in on choices and really, again, wanting to do things in a way that is always exceeding expectations. And in order to do that, again, there has to be more predictable results. So would put the prestige in that realm of narrowing in of choices, probably more associated again with if in the why, how, and what, it would be more in the what realm. We also have the fascination type alarm, which is going to be associated more with the intuitive doer. It could be an integrative thinker, but I'm leaning more towards predictable results, because one of the ways that this personality type is described is someone who really knows how to keep their eye on the ball, and they don't lose track of any details. And as we know, the intuitive doer is going to be the most practical, concrete, and focused on results. And we also have the fascination type, personality type of power, which is described in this paradigm as confident, goal-oriented, and decisive. So again, it would go in that realm of more intuitive doer. So again, with our model of potential and unpredictability down to predictability at the bottom, we'll look at the potential and unpredictable side, which is where we find innovation. Again, in this personality type is described as creative, entrepreneurial, and visionary. They prefer reimagining something from the ground up other than tweaking existing ideas. And I think this is really a defining line for many solopreneurs when looking closer at, what you might be really good at and where you like to work. There's there's a difference between starting with total white space or, dismantling systems and building something completely different. That is, going to be more appealing to a creative visionary. Whereas an integrative thinker, while they are also innovative, they tend to prefer to improve and build on existing structures. We also have passion, which would go into more of the creative visionary, more towards the top where we have chaos, potential, unpredictability. The passion personality in the system is described as expressive, intuitive, and engaging. Interestingly, this is described as someone who is really they're emotional and that they're transparent to others, and just as you can read their feelings, the passion personality is attuned to yours. So again, there's kind of a relational aspect to this too. Like in Strengths Finder, this might be the relator or someone who has a high strength of empathy. Again, really being in tune to the emotions of people. I think that in just kind of looking at the way that Sally Hogshead talks about both the innovative and the passion personality, she tends to ascribe more extroverted features. But I think if you think about a lot of these characteristics, if you applied them to an introverted personality, you would still find a lot of the same characteristics. They just display a little bit differently. So just keep that in mind as well. So here in the middle, we're going to talk about the integrative thinker, and we can look at trust as probably belonging best in this realm. They are described. The trust personality is described as steady and focused. They follow a proven pattern and they make decisions that benefit the team. So they're a little more other oriented. Integrative thinkers tend to be more secondaries. They tend to be behind the scenes often. Not always, but and again, it would depend upon a lot of other varying strengths. But in general, that's where I see the integrative thinker. So Mystique is the personality type that really describes an integrative thinker to the T. She describes them as solo intellects, again, behind the scenes, ability to see the nuances of a situation and to think things through. They're independent, analytical, and systematically gather evidence before reaching a conclusion. That's very good description of the integrative thinker characteristics. So before we go, let me show you, we have a resource in the portal for the Fascination Advantage as well. And we are back here in the portal. We are in session 1, and if you scroll down, we have the Clifton Strength Finder review, and we also have now the Fascination Advantage review. And the characteristics are categorized here between the 3 types and commentary. So some of the same things that I already talked about, only here you'll find a more detailed description of innovation, passion, trust, mystique, power, alarm, and prestige. Again, with some highlights, anything in bold, really helping to clarify why I might assign that personality type to that work strength zone. Ooh, sorry to go so fast. I hope I didn't make you too dizzy. So what you're going to want to do is the same thing. You're going to look at your assessments and to start to, again, map how do these strengths help you to do those things that you're really good at, and do they fall into the why, do they fall more into the how, or do they fall more into the what, or you can also think of them again as from expanding choices to narrowing of choices. All right, we'll see you in the community and on the next weekly call. Thank you.